inside of service?
I will, yep.
Okay.
Yep. Right. Well, first off, can you just kind of talk about what brought you to the church at this time?
Well, what brought me here to Payne Memorial AME Church is our denomination, and we are in what we call an itineracy, which means that a pastor can move from place to place. It is a good thing for our denomination because it helps out both the denomination and the preachers, so that the what we call marriages between pastor and church becomes a good one. And sometimes after years or after a year, it could possibly not be the best fit or not the best relationships. So our bishops, who are the head of our denominations, will talk with the presiding elders, who are middle management persons, and they will come together, and of course with the leading and guiding of the Holy Spirit, and they will then say, hey, this may not be the best fit, and so we're going to move you somewhere else. And so the bishop asked me, would I come here to Waterloo, because the church was going in a different direction and needed to go in a different direction. And so he asked me, would I come here and serve as pastor of this congregation? And so I believe it was November 5th of 2011, the first Sunday in November of last year was my first Sunday here. And ever since then, it has really been a wonderful fit for myself as the pastor and the church since I've been here.
And what kind of were some of your first impressions when you started out?
I actually have some history in this church. The history is that as a young boy, growing up, preteen, teen, I came to this church to various conferences, district conferences, YPD, which is Young People's Department conventions, under the pastor who was a long tenured pastor here, the Reverend Wilson O. Rideout. And came here as a boy, did workshops, was a part of it. And so I had some history of this church. And then several years later, of course, marrying a young lady out of this church. And then, of course, came back to this church. And when I came here, I found that the church did need some leadership and guidance with the way our AME structure is, because there were some new people here who knew the church but did not know the church in terms of the AME structure. So found that they needed some new and creative ideas when it came to youth ministries. Also saw some financial stability needed to be put in place. And then a thing that I have been doing any and everywhere I've gone is doing some partnering with the community and attempting to be a leading force in the community when it comes to partnerships as far as the church and businesses, the church and education, and the church and community as a whole. And so when I came here, I found that. Now, the thing that I did find that was a wonderful find was the willingness of the church. And the church was willing to change, willing to partner, willing to be led and guided and directed. So it's been a wonderful relationship and marriage between pastor and church.
And I mean, you were talking about the community part. How essential is it to develop a strong element to the community for, being a pastor?
Well, I think it's quite essential. The AME church, or the AME denomination, if you will, has always been instrumental in change and developing community relationships. Payne just happens to be the oldest African American church in this city. This year is our centennial anniversary celebration. We'll celebrate 100 years of service to the community, service. Well, let me say it this way, because I love to alliterate. 100 years of service to Christ, 100 years of service to the church, 100 years of service to community, and 100 years of service to this city. And so we have always been instrumental in change and a catalyst for change. We have always they have always had, we have always had people when they wanted to do change, the Reverend Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, Barack Obama, and all of the community leaders, that when they came to this city, even though they may have gone other places, one of the places that they came to first was Payne Memorial African Methodist Episcopal Church. And so it is major. And so that's another reason why I'm here, is to continue that legacy so that Payne continues to be, along with other churches in this community, Union Baptist, Mount Carmel Baptist, Antioch Baptist, Jubilee United Methodist Church, that we might come together and do change and create and cause change here, not only just for African Americans, but for all people, as it relates to education, as it relates to some of the violence that has been going on in our city. And so we embrace change. We try to make change happen. As I said yesterday, even if it's one person can make a difference. One church can make a difference as we seek to change.
Well, I think that did it for all. Got.